Hey Grande Alive, I'm Zeke, and this is your weekly Newsish Roundup, brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress, Grande Hospital, and anythingtodigital.com. I was a Boy Scout once, and then I realized I was a woman. What? Just kidding. About being a woman, not about being a Boy Scout. I do in fact have vague memories of doing boxcar derbies, getting badges, and doing my darndest to remember the Scout law, promise, and that other code thing you have to remember. Can you see why I'm not a Boy Scout anymore? But just because I'm not a Scout anymore doesn't mean I can't appreciate who they are and what they do. In the last several weeks, I got the opportunity to put together a piece about the Boy Scouts right here in Eastern Oregon.
I remain particularly partial and particularly concerned about our boys and young men. They live in an artificial world that often fails to honor their unique needs. It is an artificial world that puts them down and confines them to false, flimsy validations of video games, television, and the terrible temptations of the internet. I would contrast that artificiality with that which is authentic, dependable values and skills that last, that remain after all else superficial has passed away. These provide what we need to instill in our young men: a code of ethics. We give them citizenship values. We give them leadership skills, as these boys are not spending their time indoors. They are not afraid of the outdoors. They know they have the skills and competencies to survive.
My name's Brian Quebman, and I've been involved in Boy Scouts since I was a Boy Scout. Yeah, a long time ago. As a youth, I had very good experiences. One of my favorite was going up to Klondike and sleeping in a very well-built snow cave. And there's a saying in scouting that I find very true, that scouting is too fun for boys only. So they let us adults also participate. And I just love it because I love being outside and working with the boys. And I find as I get older, I can be more patient with them instead of getting frustrated with them. Now I can just laugh about it. Oh, that's funny, you know, and hey, look at how they're doing it. But they're learning. That's what I love about it, is that the young men are learning as they're doing these activities.
When was the last time you heard the Pledge of Allegiance and saw a proper presentation of the colors? I mean, where do we do that? Where do we learn patriotism? Where do we learn what it means to be an American? And where do we how do we find the values that we once cherished? Where do we find those taught? And that's what we get in Scouts, and that's how we get the leaders for tomorrow.
With our male youth today, there are so many distractions that don't build solid competencies, that don't help a boy really feel self-confident. And one of the great things I believe Scouting does is it provides a structure where young boys beginning at age 10 and a half, when they can join Boy Scouts, learn to cook, learn to give first aid.
I think it's important to get young men out in the outdoors, because I think sometime in their life they will be faced with a situation, maybe life or death, that if they have not had exposures to the outdoor, they may die, or they may not know how to take care of themselves or other people.
Whether you believe in God creating us or in random evolution, we're people who came onto this earth and developed because of the challenges of the outdoors. When we sever that connection to the outdoors, when we turn our thermostats up to 68 or 70 or whatever, if that thermostat goes out, I have great confidence, for instance, that any of our scouts could bring out their camp stoves and cook a meal.
There is such a disconnection between today's youth and respect for a lot of things. Respect for their elders, respect for God, respect for the outdoors, respect for animals.
This organization is so good at teaching those principles, and one of the most important things we try to instill in Boy Scouts is how to be a leader, because there's lots of followers, but there's few real leaders who can just take charge and take care of a situation.
One of the things I do emphasize with these Scouts is the solid foundation they are building, the memories they're building. Scouting isn't necessarily popular among teenagers like it used to be. Yet I tell these boys when they've hiked to the summit of Gunsight at Anthony Lake, or when they've slept in 0-degree weather in a snow cave, and I tell these boys that you will always remember this weekend in the snow. You will remember for the rest of your life what you've done. Your friends who put down scouting will have spent this weekend sleeping late, playing a video game. They will never remember what they did on Saturday, the 20th of February.
That's what the Boy Scouts provides. It provides the opportunities to get out there and get to be one with nature again. We get to know how to survive, how to be a good leader, how to be a good citizen.
If you're interested in getting your child involved with the Boy Scouts in Eastern Oregon, you can learn more at their website. This title story was brought to you by I'm Sick. It's not often I get to geek out with people about one of my favorite subjects, art. But this week on Coffee with Will, I got to chat with a man who combines massive musical erudition with a fun-loving demeanor that wins even the stuffiest of people to his side, Zeke Fetrow. Zeke is the conductor of the Ronde Symphony and a music nerd to the max. He knows a bunch about the musical history of all the pieces he conducts, including Brahms' Requiem that he is conducting tonight at Eastern Oregon University.
But what I find in the Brahms Requiem is that we see so much of Brahms' personal struggles in the piece. He was great friends with Robert and Clara Schumann. They were some of the biggest influences on his life. We're talking about the middle of the 19th century. Robert Schumann, is a rock star. He's absolute, he's got international acclaim. He's writing piano music all the time. His wife, Clara, is an internationally known performer. They're both piano player extraordinaires, virtuosos. And Brahms meets this pair, and they get acquainted, and they see Brahms, and they see him play, and they see his music. And Robert Schumann does for Brahms what I wish every great composer had somebody to do for them, which is he writes to a publisher, a major music publisher, and he says, this guy's the real deal.
Despite knowing everything about the history behind classical arrangements, Zeke isn't hoity-toity about his knowledge. He's actually a super fun-loving guy. Zeke believes that his place is trying to bring people into the music emotionally and making classical music accessible to everyone, from professors to poppers.
I would urge anybody who's like, I'm not really a classical fan, or I don't really listen to classical music. Number one, there's a lot of reasons not to. I think that there are more reasons to do it than there are not to, but I think the most common myth I dispel is not all classical music is good. It's the same way with pop, it's the same way with jazz, it's the same with any genre. There are great pieces in every genre. I personally grew up listening to hip hop and R&B. You wouldn't know it, but I absolutely loved some of the hip hop artists, grew up listening to them, the R&B on CD and stuff. I had mixtapes and all sorts of things. But not all hip hop is good, not all classical music is good. There are really some spectacular gems in the repertoire, and I think that those are worth the discovery. I think that what you get out of doing those and out of learning about those pieces is worth the time it takes to get that discovery. So when I meet people who are like, maybe I'll give classical a shot, I'm like, understand the language. Know the language that people are singing in, if they're singing, or understand kind of the context of the piece.
Overall, the conversation was a wonderfully profound yet fun exploration of Brahms' Requiem and emotion in music in general. The rest of this conversation is available on the Grande Live's Facebook page, and be sure to head up to Mackenzie Theater tonight, Thursday, March 16th at 7:30 p.m. for Brahms' Requiem in the Grande. And here's your upcoming events with Emily Adair in Get Out and Go.
Hi, I'm Emily Adair from Go Magazine.
And I'm Will Bowman from the Grande Live, and this is Get Out and Go.
This week, the Grand Ronde Symphony Association is teaming up with several other organizations to present Brahms' Requiem. A number of musicians from Ontario will join the local orchestra and choirs in the Grande.
Before the concert, director Zeke Fetrow will lead a fanfare event to discuss the work. Participants can ask him questions while they enjoy light food and drink. Fanfare will wrap up in time to head over to the concert on EOU's campus.
Looking over to Baker City, the high school will hold a production of The Curious Savage. The play follows 3 scheming children of a recently deceased man who tried to get their hands on the inheritance left to their stepmother. Only this is not the cliché story of an evil stepmother. Instead, the children are the antagonists.
Also in Baker City, Carolyn Wood, the author of Tough Girl, will give a free talk. Wood's memoir tells the stories of her journey to compete in the Olympics and her reflections as a woman at the end of a 30-year relationship.
Go Magazine also has details about Cook Memorial Library's Teen iCraft series and the Chuck Close exhibit at the Pendleton Center for the Arts.
For more information, be sure to pick up a copy of this week's Go Magazine, which is inserted in the Observer.
We're also online at GoNortheastOregon.com and on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
For more local content, check out thegrandelive.tv, and thanks for tuning in to this week's Get Out and Go. In sports, nothing. Not a lot going on in local sports these days, with basketball all done. But here's a video of a dancing banana, just so you know we care. And here's your EOU sports with Evan and Chris in Around the Mountain in 90 seconds.
On open house.
3.141526. Happy Pi Day. I'm Chris Duarte.
This is Around the Mountain in about 90 seconds. In the NAIA Division II men's basketball tournament, the EU men's basketball team earned a 92-90 victory over number 17 IU Southeast last week. Then in the Sweet 16, the Mountaineers faced another team from the Hoosier State, third-ranked Bethel. Bethel controlled most of the contest, winning 104-71. Brian McGriff averaged 31 points per game, while fellow senior Kentrell Washington averaged nearly 17 points per game.
The EU women's basketball team had an incredible run that ended in the quarterfinals. The ladies defeated Dickinson State and Dakota Wesleyan before falling to number 1, St. Francis 51-48. Senior Ashley Knight went out in style, dropping a career-high 21 points, but the last possession shot for EOU with 7 seconds remaining to tie the game just missed. The Mountaineers finished the season 30-5 overall.
Softball swept Northwest Christian on Sunday and Monday, winning all 4 games. On Sunday, EU won 7-4 and 9-5. On Monday, the Mountaineers took game 1 in 5 innings, 10-2, and then slipped past the Beacons 1-0 as Lexi Spinch pitched the complete game.
That's a wrap for EOU Athletics. Stay tuned next week as we take you around the mountain in about 90 seconds.
For more information, visit us at www.eusports.com.
And one more thing, be sure to check out our newest service, La Grande Live Live. La Grande Live Live is our weeknight live stream that catches you up with all our most recent content. 6 o'clock p.m. every Monday through Friday, tune into our Facebook page and our website and watch about 2 hours of live content at home, on your computer or on your smartphone. La Grande Live Live, our weekly evening live stream. Also, be sure to check out our newest show, Gun Talks, a show in which Brent, the owner here at La Grande Live, talks about guns with fellow local business owner Clay Winton. That show can be found on La Grande Live Facebook page. And that's your weekly Newsish Roundup. This roundup was brought to you by Grand Ronde Hospital, Northwest Furniture and Mattress, and anythingtodigital.com. Be sure to like and share this video and tune into LaGrandeLive.tv for more local content. I'm Wilma Bowman.